What's going on, guys? My name is TheOmarSaleh, and today I am going to read parts of my guidebook that I released called Choose Her First, which was written and published by myself to help push and inspire women to be able to choose the life that they want for themselves and put themselves first before anything else, like a man, friends, or anything that distracts them from their main goals. This is something that I wrote a couple months back, and I am not only very proud of it, but I'm very happy that I did so because I've been born and raised in a family that's very dominant when it comes to women. And I have seen my fair share of stories. I have also had a lot of friends who are girls who have shared stories with me that have been through similar situations and problems. And then I started to carry a theme that I realized many women go through. That plus a couple of relationships that I've been in helped me really understand what women I think struggle with and what they can be tricked by or fooled by when it comes to either guys or even friends or family or decision making. And I feel like there's a lot of things that maybe are on pause for you that don't deserve to be on pause because it is your life, and everything should start and end for the sake of you, and then comes other people. And women have been kind of normalized and trained by society to put others first instead of themselves because of this mother nature that exists. And even though that mother nature is correct and it's true and they do have it, I don't think you should be putting everything first and then yourself just because the world has told you so. Because then you fall into a situation where maybe you look back at your life and you realize you haven't done the things that you want to do. You haven't mixed with the types of people that you want to be with. You haven't, experienced what a real relationship looks like because you thought maybe a good relationship means you serve over and over and over again. And your source of dopamine is just that person's approval of your actions. By the way, if that's what you think it is, that's not true. So I'm here to read a couple of pages of the guidebook, just for fun. I'll kind of go through it with you, and then if you do want to see more, obviously, link in bio on all my social media handles. I'll put it even on this YouTube video. You can go ahead and purchase the rest. I love this guide so much because it's not just a guide that you read and let go of. It's very short. It's only like 20 pages, but it's something you revisit. And I've had a couple of people, a couple of girls who DM me saying they like to revisit over and over again after I've explained that that's what it's for. And I love that. I love that people are actually going back to it and reading it to remind themselves of things that they have to do, which now just reminds me that a girl texted me that she lost the file and I forgot to respond back to her because I need to send her one. So I'm gonna do that after this video. But yeah, let's start. You know what? Let me start with, actually, I just explained the before you begin page kind of to you, so we're gonna skip that. Let's go. Should we go chapter one? I'll go chapter one. How about I go chapter one, and then the thing is, I like this being in order. I do. I want you to read it in order. So maybe I'll go in order. Maybe I'll read 2 chapters and stop, or maybe I'll pick my favorite lines. But let's start with chapter 1. Chapter 1 is called Enter Your Destination. Please excuse me if I'm looking this way at reading and I'm not giving you the eye contact that you deserve because I am reading. So let's go ahead. Chapter 1, Enter Your Destination. If I asked you where you see yourself in 10 years, what would you say? What about 5 years? If I asked you what kind of man you wanted to marry, would your standards be clear or vague? What would your life look like on a free Sunday? Who would be around you? What kind of conversations would you be having? What moves you? What excites you? What kind of work do you want to be a part of? What do you hate? I like that question a lot. What do you hate? Because people actually don't ask that. If you think about it, every time you meet someone, every time you have a conversation with someone, rarely do people ask you, what do you hate? They usually ask you, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? If you learn what someone hates, you are more likely to understand them than based off what they like. And I can talk about that more, but let me continue this. Every meaningful goal in life starts with a question. Before we dive into this guide, I want you to choose one thing, your destination. Think of it the same way you would think of a map on your phone, you know, the apps. You don't start moving until you know where you're going. I recommend you write a short paragraph answering the following, especially if you want to arrive somewhere different by the end of this guide, which I really do believe in. If you also want to take this guide to the next level, grab a journal, grab anything and put it next to you and jot down notes, or maybe even print this yourself and highlight it. Or if you have that app on the iPad where you can like highlight the same PDF file and everything, I really recommend that. I think it's going to take it to the next level, and it helps you think as you write, which is very creative. It's been proven that if you write something as you're thinking, which is why journaling is so important, you actually think better and everything's more clear. Anyways, yeah, so I recommend you write a short paragraph. Where do you want to be in 5 to 10 years? That's something you should write down. What do you want around you? What kind of man would be worthy of sharing that life with you? Notice how I said sharing. What experiences matter most to you? If you read what you wrote and feel aligned with it, you may not need the rest of this guide. But if you read it and realize you are a few steps away, a few principles away, then keep going. And I like this as well because I don't really want to feed anyone BS. And if you feel like you are somewhere in life that you love, then obviously I'm not going to go ahead and tell you, you must read this guide. This guide is going to save you. I'm not going to do that. But if you do think that in any aspect this could help you, I recommend obviously reading it, because first of all, you never stop learning. You never stop gaining knowledge. And you can always add more to your arsenal. And you take everything with a grain of salt. Even my word, you should take it with a grain of salt, right? This is just based off of my experiences when I've learned. But you can obviously take it, what you think is stupid, throw it away. Maybe you take one small nugget out of 10, let's say, paragraphs. That's a steal, right? Anyways, I yap a lot. Seriously, you're going to see how this is going to take a hot minute. Okay. Yeah, then, whatever. Keep going. Or if this aligns with you, then you don't have to read this guide. The importance of having a destination flies over a lot of people's heads. Think about it like this. Would you start driving your car without setting a location? Would you waste gas just driving in circles? Of course not. Life is quieter than that. You don't feel lost all at once. It happens slowly, subtly. And once enough time passes, it suddenly feels too late. If you want one kind of life, but your habits are taking you somewhere else, frustration is guaranteed. Not because you are unlucky, but because the route does not match the destination. We don't want that. We want direction. It doesn't need to be perfect. Even heading north is enough. You can adjust along the way, but you have to start moving with intention. Only then do you share your location and invite people in. Also very important. Note that down. Why am I out of breath? When your life has movement, it becomes clear who respects it and who interrupts it. Some people fall off along the way. That isn't loss. That's filtering. The further the destination, the fewer people beside you. That's how it's supposed to be. Identity matters just as much as direction. When you don't decide who you are becoming, relationships will start filling in that space. Attachment becomes the direction. I've seen this happen to many women without them even realizing it. His goals became her goals. His hobbies became hers. His mood became her weather. If you don't build an identity, he will give you one. If you don't choose a direction, he will choose it for you. You deserve the best outcome that you want for your life. So decide this now, before anything else. Who are you becoming and where are you going? Even if no one joins you yet. I'm happy with this. Guys, I didn't just start writing, but it's my first ever published thing. So I excuse me if I give myself some credit. God damn, I know there's a lot of problems with the literature writing, but I'm happy with what I did here. Anyways, I'm gonna go through that one more time for y'all, just because I think it's that important. Identity matters just as much as direction. When you don't decide who you are becoming, relationships will start filling in that space. Attachment becomes the direction. I've seen this happen to too many women without them even realizing it. His goals became her goals. His hobbies became hers. His mood became her weather. If you don't build an identity, he will give you one. If you don't choose a direction, he will choose it for you. Choose her first. Love it. Love it. You deserve the best outcome that you want out of your life. Point blank, period. Now that gets us to chapter 2. Show me your friends. Now, do I read this? Let me think out loud with you guys here. Do I read this or do I go to another chapter and find it with you? I'm not sure. Let me read parts of this. I would rather actually to go to chapter 3, if you don't mind, please. Chapter 2 is Show Me Your Friends. I think that's a very important chapter, but I'd like to focus on chapter 3 because I'd like to focus on things that you think of and you can control as of right now, because Show Me Friends does talk about the fact that you should be very aware of the friends that you keep into your life and the friends that you throw away, and how that impacts every decision you make to the T. And that's why they always say, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Which is why I had a little fun with the wording and I said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future husband. And that needs a bit more clarification, which is why I suggest read the chapter and you'll understand where I'm getting at. Chapter 3, Design First, Invite Second. I realize some of you may already have good people in your life. Friends who care, friends who show up. But something I see just as often, and sometimes even more damaging than having the wrong people around you, is having no structure at all. You can be surrounded by good people and still feel lost. This is where we turn inwards, because before anyone comes in, before you invite anyone into your life, you have to ask yourself something honestly. Do you even like the room they are being invited in? This is not about copying someone else's life. Your room will not look like mine. It shouldn't. What feels peaceful to you, what excites you, what fills your time will be different. That is the point. But whatever your room looks like, it should feel intentional. It should feel like you belong there. From what I have seen, relationships do not usually fail because of a lack of love. They fail because of a lack of identity. Let me say that again. From what I have seen, relationships don't fail out of the lack of love. They fail from lack of identity. And from my experience, I promise you, this is very, very true. Does love matter? 100%. But if you don't have identity first, you won't even get to love, or you haven't even experienced what true love is about. From what I have seen. Okay. Knowing who you are matters. Knowing what you like and do not like matters. Knowing how you spend your time when no one else is around also matters. Can you even be by yourself? Is that something you can do right now? Let's play this out together. Imagine a clean white bedroom. I chose a bedroom because it's a private space. It is where you sleep, change, study, rest, and exist away from everyone else. It is the one place that should feel like you. And that's true. Excuse me. Oh my God. Tip, never do this after eating. Oof. Now this room needs to be designed before anyone is invited in. We start with the windows. I personally like them over the bed so I can get fresh air while I sleep. The bed itself is a twin, enough for me and a +1 if I ever decide to invite someone in. I add a small desk in the corner where I can work, hence this area, read books, or even just watch YouTube on my laptop. That's going to be a part of my entertainment. Behind the desk, there is a walk-in closet, organized, intentional, with space for new things if I decide to grow and add more. This baby right here. Which I will. I'm also a big fan of music, so I got a vintage record player with the top-of-the-line speakers to play all my favorite albums when I want to. Now, that is not top-of-the-line speakers, but that's something I'd like to add in the future. As you can see, this is very true to how I have my room right now. I like to just, show you that I'm honestly raw. I'm honestly very raw dogging through life. I got no bullshit to hide, man. I'm sorry. It's just have you ever noticed the people who are always so genuine with you are the people who have eaten the most shit? Like at that point, you stop giving a fuck about what people think about you and what you have to hide and make look good. I've been eaten and spit out more than I could fucking think of. So excuse me if I don't care to lie to you and make my life so amazing just so that you approve of me. Anyways, side note, side tangent. Let's go back. Organized, intentional. Okay. I'm also a big fan of the speakers. Yeah, we talked about that. The record player is a dark green with some wood color outlining the edges. Not that, again, it's just something I'd like to have. I put it on a 3-layered shelf I built myself to match my height, so everything is at eye level for my convenience. This is kind of true. You get the point. After designing my room, the one I worked on, thought through, and brought together, I now understand how I like to spend my time. I know what entertains me and what does not. If I choose to invite someone in, it will be on my terms and within my rules. And if they choose to leave, I will not fall apart. I know what my room offers. I love it. I do not need them to stay for me to enjoy it. That is the key, my friend. You do not need anyone to stay or even enter for you to have fun. You have yourself. You have structure. You have character. You have spent years building your room, your life. And if you give it to the right attention and right care, you might look up one day and realize you did not build a room at all. You built a mansion. That is what I want for you. Design first. Design your hobbies. Design your routines. Design your work ethic. Design your passions. Then invite someone to share the space. If you spend too much time inviting people in instead of designing and fixing your room, all your joy and dopamine gets placed on them. You begin to rely on them. When they leave, it hurts deeply because the investment was short-sighted, it was wrong, and if they stay, you might slowly hand them control, letting their interests decide what is entertaining while you quietly follow along. Remember Chapter 1. His hobbies became hers. Nothing will ever look better than a room you built with intention and love. Love yourself enough to design it properly. When you do, something interesting happens. People start hearing about how good it looks and how good it feels to be there. They start asking if they can come in. All of a sudden, now there's demand on your ass because you built yourself from the ground up. Huh? Funny how the tables turn. Funny how the tables turn. And when they do, you will have no one to thank but yourself because you built it. Just don't leave spare keys lying around. Sorry. I cannot tell you the excitement that came out of my body when I wrote that line. If you don't like it, I'm sorry to hear that. Do I care? Absolutely not. I find this line awesome. I find it awesome, and I hope to God it lands with the right people that read this. Because there was 3 options. There were so many options that I had, like to finish it with a nice little metaphor, artsy, creative, underlying message. I forgot what the other options were. I think one of them was just make sure you take all the spare keys with you. I think one of them was don't forget the spare key. But I don't know. I like this one at the end. Just don't leave spare keys lying around. And if you want just some additional context behind that, don't leave spare keys lying around. Don't have a bunch of your backup keys on the floor for people to pick up and enter your room with and start fucking around. Don't, because if you do that, someone's gonna come and knock off the shelf because they don't care about it. Why would they care? I'm the one who built it, not them. Someone's gonna come and steal all my clothes and dip. Someone's gonna fucking come and take all my pillows. Why? Don't leave the spare keys lying around. You give them to the people that you want. Now they're coming to you. You're like a coffee shop, but you decide who to give coffee to. Because coffee is energy, and your energy should be spent to the right people. Sorry. I was so stupid. But the metaphor works. The metaphor works, bro. Oh my god. This is probably the most fun I've had while doing a YouTube video. I'm not even lying. I should do this more often. I am geeked. Okay, cool. That's it. That's it. I will read more later. I will read. If this YouTube video hits 30,000 views within a month, I will read the whole thing. And I will talk about it in detail and share it. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this, there's a lot more of this. Link in bio. Choose Her First. Very short guidebook. I already read 2 chapters with you. And as you can see, the time is running 23 minutes. And that's with me babbling along. Babbling, yapping, something. So if you were to read this nonstop and take notes, it would take you literally less than a 45-minute episode on Netflix of whatever it is that you're watching. And you'd gain a lot more knowledge and learn a lot more about yourself, honestly, not about anything else. And you can put it to good use. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Choose her first. And don't leave spare keys lying around, bro. Oh, I love it.